Breaking news, last night we told you about the arrest, the FBI, of the 25-year-old NSA contractor Reality Winner for allegedly leaking a top-secret intelligence report on Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election to an online news website. Well, tonight, questions are swirling about how it happened, will it happen again, and just exactly what did the Russians attempt. Here to discuss, Fred Fleitz, Deroy Murdock, and Bre Payton. Bre, let me start with you. Of course, a lot of questions coming out, particularly around this leaker, potential leaker, 25-year-old woman who wore her disdain for President Trump on her sleeve and on her Twitter account.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I think it's very clear from her tweets and many of the statements that she made that she was no fan of the president. And, you know, I think it's very fair. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But I think when it's your job to serve for our country, serve our government, serve at the pleasure of the president, even for a contractor, I think that your duty to your country should come before your personal feelings towards the president. And I think it's very clear that she didn't.
Fred, implications from this. A lot of people are hoping this is just the beginning of many arrests, because obviously leaks are a significant problem with this Trump administration thus far.
She must be fully prosecuted. There's no exception in a security agreement if you don't like President Trump. Leaks like this do enormous damage. They put lives at risk. They compromise intelligence systems that cost millions of dollars to put together. It worries me that she's a junior person, but there can't be any exceptions here. She was an intelligence officer in the armed services. She knew what she was doing. She has to go to prison.
Fred, do you anticipate, though, more arrests?
Yes, I do. I think there are some fairly aggressive efforts in the U.S. government to find out where these leaks are coming from. I think this is just the first of many.
Guys, last night, Jason Chaffetz made comments about these folks being arrested and serving time. Let's take a listen.
They have got to get after these leaks. I don't care if you're a Republican or Democrat, doesn't matter what administration. When you have classified information, you cannot put that out there just because you think it would be a good idea. I want people in handcuffs, and I want to see people behind bars.
Deroy, I think a lot of people feel the same way.
I think we're about unanimous on this one. Look, Reality Winner, it sounds like the name of a thoroughbred, right? If she likes Bernie Sanders, that's great. She can go somewhere, make phone calls or write checks or go to a fundraiser. What she can't do is tell people in this country or anywhere else things that are secret. And there's a problem not just with the Trump administrations. We had leaks during the Obama administration, such as leaking the name of the doctor who was helpful in the effort to track down bin Laden. In the Bush administration, somebody leaked the fact that we actually were able to tap into bin Laden's satellite phone. And of course, that phone went dead afterwards. And that guy who was the doctor whose name is now in jail in Pakistan.
Well, under the former president's administration, there were a lot of Espionage Act, I mean, they used that heavily. Is that something you think that could be incorporated or used right now?
I think it has to be, absolutely. I think we have a culture of leaks in Washington right now. I call it a blabocracy, and we need to send the message to people that this isn't cute, it's not funny, it's deadly serious, it's not just a little white-collar crime. This is the kind of thing that gets people killed, it gets people overseas who might be helpful to us to clam up because they don't want to get their names in the paper and get their heads chopped off. And yes, this has to stop, and one way to do it is to lock these people up.
Bre, there's two sides to this story, of course. There are the leakers, and then there's the media, particularly the mainstream media. You see any culpability there?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just last week, the New York Times published a report and named the top CIA operative in Iran. And right now, the Iranian government is issuing out photos of him and his wife in what seems like kind of an effort to identify and capture them, right? So now it appears that his life is now at risk because of the New York Times. And I think that we're seeing this kind of behavior repeated over and over again, particularly in this instance with The Intercept. And listen, reporters have an obligation to tell the truth, but they need to weigh the consequences of what telling that truth will be. I think it's very clear, and we know even from The Intercept's own reporting that they don't know to what extent Russia even was really involved or to what outcome it was. So, you know, I think exposing this very classified information to what appears to be no really benefit in terms of knowing more about Russia's involvement, I think really shows that they are not following the ethical obligations of being a reporter and being a journalist.
All right, guys, let's leave it there. Big news, and hopefully we will capture a lot more and prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law. Coming up, hitting the road.